not the first exit, it's the second exit, 13 Grantham. And you're going to go south on Route 10. I remember as a little kid, I was just getting interested in fishing, and I read a book about fly fishing in Yugoslavia. And for some reason, that really tickled my fancy. I thought that sounded great. The beauty of the rivers. They talked about marble, trout, and just the sound of that kind of fascinated me. A lot got in the way. You know, I had to grow up and learn how to fly cast and raise a family and so on. And then, of course, there was the Civil War, so nobody was going to fish Yugoslavia for a decade anyway. But then finally the kids were graduated from college and we had a little extra cash and we decided to go.
So when you got there and your first day fishing, what was your
Well, yeah, okay.
impression?
Well, I remember our guide Kevin took us and we scoped out a few rivers the first afternoon. I was kind of jet lagged and tired from flying all night. And I remember looking down into the rivers and saying, there are no rivers there. I could see the river bed and I could see the rocks and a little beach along the sides, but there didn't seem to be any water in them. And then I realized it was because it was so clear. I had never seen clearer water, although you can't even say seen clearer water because you can't see it. It's so transparent. A little turquoise tinge here and there makes it even more beautiful. But fishing in September, I was absolutely astonished, and I thought we had clear water in New England, but it's murky compared to Slovenia water. Yeah, the crazy thing about Slovenia is that we came back, and even before we went, people said, "Where are you going on vacation?" And we did not meet two people out of probably several dozen educated people we talked to and told them about plans, who knew where the place was. And of course they all scratched their head and finally come out with, oh, Slovakia, because they've all heard of that. But and the funny thing is the people we met who did know where Slovenia was, it was because they'd all been there 5 or 6 times. I mean, they just absolutely were in love with it. It's a real undiscovered treasure, at least as far as Americans go. I would like to go back at the height of the mayfly season, which I guess is late June, early July, because to see a fish full of rising fish really is kind of a magical experience, and I understand it can be fantastic. So I'd like to do that. Yeah, I have fantasies about renting a house there for the entire summer, and you know, every once in a while I do something like that. So maybe someday. But the other great thing about it, there aren't many places in the world where there are so many rivers and so many alternatives within half day's drive. I mean, you could literally fish 6 rivers a day and hardly put on more than 50 miles on your car. And that's what I like. If one river isn't fishing well, you can go to another. If you're tired of fishing in Socha, you can go to a smaller river. I like the variety. I like the relatively compact area these rivers are found in.